I speak from on the side of the moral spectrum that hates corruption. It's about time this House awakens itself to the reality that lies, deceptions, and corruption has been the enemy that we have been facing. It is not those foreigners who come into this country. It is not those businesses that we get them in. It is ourselves. We have been an enemy to ourselves by indulging in corruption, abuse, misappropriation, lies, and deceptions. This is what we must get rid of within ourselves, from within us. If you want to know what corruption is, judges, lawyers alike in private sector, citizens, and young people of Papua New Guinea, if you like to learn about corruption, regardless of whether these recommendations are implemented or not, study this report. You'll find corruption in multifacets in here. And getting the foreigners who don't know about Papua New Guinea, who don't care about us, into this country by Papua New Guineans, that's a corrupt act. Papua New Guineans, you occupy positions of responsibility and yet making wrong decisions, that's a corrupt act. People are getting money and putting into escrow accounts while the people who own the money, the LNG or landowners, the people of Gulf, people of Central, people of Western Province, people of Southern Islands, people of Hela, they suffer and die one by one, and yet the leaders responsible to look after them get the money and hide it elsewhere. That's corruption. The Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea is vested with too much power. One person is vested with too much power. You might ask me, Mr. Speaker, how do you know Mr. Don POLYE? I have experienced it, I've seen it, I know it. I've been over on the other side of the opposition leader. I'm here on this side of the parliament, and I was here on the floor of parliament for the last 15 years. Now I'm making 17, 18 years. I can tell you that the Prime Minister of Papua New Guinea is more powerful than any other Prime Minister in other countries. One person is vested with so much power. I think that that power must be shared. Let's look at the laws. If you have a Prime Minister who is different, you might have a good time. If a Prime Minister has other ambitions in his mind or in her mind, you might have a rough time. And sometimes friends who come along and they push you to do something and you end up doing. And now I sympathize with the member for Yalbu Pange. Now he's saying, I was given the wrong advice. At that time he was very confident the advice was not the wrong one. What's the right one? I was in the cabinet. But now he thinks that was a wrong advice. Would it be better to be wiser before the incident than to be wiser after the incident, Papua New Guinea? We have to be very mindful of the laws that guide us. The Prime Minister's power must be, somehow must be shared. Now, the second point I find is good governance. The custodians of good governance and stewardship must be on the public servant. The secretary, the MD, the CEO, they must be responsible. How can they go out and just do things because the Prime Minister or the Minister tells them to do? They're supposed to be intelligent people, intellects. That's why we select them. They're supposed to be people with integrity. They are the custodians of the state laws, the rule of law, systems, and governance. How could the Secretary of Treasury then, outside of the Minister and other processes, assist a Prime Minister to implement a law that really over 100% hurts Papua New Guinea? Now, Mr. Speaker, we did not need to wait for a Commission of Inquiry to come in for us to learn and open our eyes. No. You don't need a commission to give you a report or say it. You don't have to go to the court of law to advise you of what you're supposed to be doing. Right or wrong. Doing the wrong thing against the right thing or right thing against the wrong thing should be a normal, natural part of our conscience. Should it not be? How come a secretary just goes and signs and does this and yes, boss, yes, sir, you're the boss, yes, sir, I'm doing it, yes, sir. What do you mean, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir? The law is there to tell you not to say yes, sir, but to say no, sir. Sorry, politician, how can I do? Because the law stops me. Both of us will get jailed. You don't have to go to the court to prove it. Governance systems. We have to look at the laws and make sure public servants, they have a responsibility to the people of this country, not to the politician, not to the Prime Minister, not to the Minister, but to Papua New Guinea and to their own families themselves. Governance systems, secretaries. Many secretaries are becoming millionaires too. They have their own companies on the side. I thought once upon a time the general orders of the public service tells us that we are not supposed to be making business when you're a public servant. But now it is norm. Palaces built, truck hire companies established. They are shareholders of many other businesses, collaborating with politicians to do business. It's hating us. We should hate that kind of conduct. It is a detestable thing. We should not be kind to this. It is something that we must hate. People who do the wrong without any hate, they have to face the rule of law and let's jail them. Not because we hate them. We jail lawbreakers not because we hate them, but because we love them, that they will change themselves. That we love our people, that these people are not a detrimental menace to society. Because if they keep on breaking the law, our people will suffer at large. So jailing is a good instrument, it's a good tool to manage our people and the welfare of our people. Let me say some other similar things. The motorcade port wharf thing must also be investigated to find out the wrong and correct it. The funds and the structure in which the APEC, even the gold policy that we've been talking about in the floor of Parliament, so many things started by the previous government and other people that I find they are corrupt. We have to look at the APEC that we established, even the PNG sports. How much money did we spend them? So many roads that we need to clear to establish and position Papua New Guinea on the road to fighting and hating avoiding corruption. Thank you, Mr.